for this next flow, this is going to be great for anyone who has to keep track of their pipeline. You want to be able to use AI to be able to make that process a lot quicker without you having to manually keep track of all of your deals. So for this one, we're using the Google Drive trigger, meaning it's going to start whenever a file is added to a folder. In this case, what we're going to be dropping into our HubSpot folder is this CSV or spreadsheet with all of the deal information. This is an example of what would be exported from HubSpot. However, if you have a different CRM, you can probably export something very similar. We're going to go ahead and export that sheet as a PDF. That way AI can analyze it. And then using Gemini, we're going to add some system instructions. Now here, keep in mind that you can add whatever information you want here. If you want it to have the perspective of a sales operations analyst, if you want it to have the CEO's perspective, marketing's perspective, you can add that into the system instructions. And basically what I'm indicating here is I want it to give a summary of the overall deal health, and then any red flags or risks, as well as some recommendations or opportunities for all of the deals it finds. So it's going to be presenting the different summaries in small paragraphs. And I want it to return a JSON to object. So I've also enabled that option down at the bottom. And just make sure that you add the file here. We want to make sure we parse the JSON to object to make sure that we can actually use those fields, and that way we have the individual overall deal health summary, we have the red flag summary, and then the recommendation summary. And then I want to go ahead and generate the report. So this report can be created in whatever fashion you want. You just need to create a template. So for example, you can create something simple like this. Make sure if you want to replace any information, like for example the current date, you put it in between two curly brackets. That way Zenphi knows where to replace that information. However, you can make this more complex if you want to add some branding, if you want to add some images, some logos. You can add that to your report. It will be able to maintain the structure that you indicate in the template. And to create the report, we're going to be using our Create Document from Template action. This is for Google Docs. So once you select your template file by clicking on this Google Drive icon, you're going to select where you want to save this Google Doc. So you can choose a folder, once again using the Google Drive icon, and you can give it a file name. So if you want to use the date and then HubSpot review, or you want to give it a different name, you can use a token picker to be able to add information from previous steps. And then here you can generate the PDF. Now, if you've added any placeholders using the two curly brackets, you'll be able to see them down at the bottom. So you can simply use a token picker to be able to retrieve the information, like for example, the current date, recommendations, red flags, etc. And then we can go ahead and send it to marketing using our send email action. So if you want to CC anyone, you're able to do that here. You can change the subject, the body, and then just make sure we add the PDF file in the attachments. Now here you can change the steps if you prefer, if you want to assign it as a task for them to review and then complete. If you want to be able to upload the document maybe to a HubSpot account, you have the ability to modify the steps, and Zenphi is so customizable. If you prefer to send it via Google Chat, that's also an option that you have. So let's go ahead and run an example. So like mentioned, this is going to be our example document. We'll go ahead and save, do a test run, select a file to start. And the best part about this is everything is going to be running on the back end, so you don't have to worry about anything besides dropping the CSV file whenever you're ready to be able to analyze the different deals. You can do this once a week, every couple of days, once a month. And this is what the email would look like. As we can see, it added the date here. And then we have this document where we're able to see the different recommendations, the overall deal health, as well as red flags. Now, the best part about this is if you use AI, you're able to customize the prompts that it provides different information. If you want it to use the perspective of a different person, like mentioned, maybe the CEO, maybe you want a marketing perspective, a sales perspective, you can indicate all of that in the system instructions, and that will change your flow significantly. But as you can see, it's very simple to be able to create this. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the chat and we'll get to them as soon as we can.